Start the recording. So we are recording now. This is the lecture for Design 320. I'm Professor Schuster, and it's Thursday, January 21st, and we're doing this on a Google Meet. Okay, so welcome, Sam, just coming in. That's very cool. So really this week is pretty straightforward and simple. A few people have already turned in their week one presentation. So that's kind of cool. And they looked very good, no problems. But let me go over for you the last thing that I didn't work on before because I was waiting. And that's our participation certification. You can see it here in an announcement. And I've added it into week one down here. Okay. And it's a very cool thing. I found this cool command in Google Chrome that automatically makes you a copy as soon as you click on it. Check it out. If I click on this, it goes, oh, do you want your own copy? Instead of opening it up, file, make a copy, get into this. So yeah, I do want a copy. So it's going to make me my own copy of it. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Now, if you're not in a Chrome browser, it does not work. It goes to a request. And so this is the link. If you need another browser and make your own, and I'll get the settings right so that welcome, Alejandro. Glad to have you in with us. But you'll be able to go to the link, one of these two, and get it. And then if you look at it, it says to make a PDF of it and submit it along with your other one. Now, in the future, I'll integrate this better so it won't be a separate step. But take a look and see what it looks like. So first of all, you'll put your name in here. I'll put mine in because this is my copy. See how it's my copy? So I'll put my name in here, Randy Schuster. And then I'll look at it and go, oh, did I do that? Did I do the lecture? No. Did I watch it? Yeah. Or no, I totally ignored it. So there's three options down here, and you choose the one that's the most appropriate. Well, I was there because I recorded it. So I'm going to make that one green. And this one, where I talk about water quality, we did that in one of the labs, but I put a link to it. So you can either watch all of it now. It's about 10 minutes long. It's not the 5 minutes long. It's not very long. Talks about water quality and the focus for our class. So I watched all of it, or I was in the live meet when I recorded it. So I'll make that one green also. And this one, well, I've watched all of it. We didn't do that one in the live meet. I just expect you to look at all of the things. So I watched all of it. You could totally ignore it if you want to. It doesn't, it's part of your participation to look at all these things, but the information is in other places. But there we go. And then, of course, I'd like it as a PDF. So I'll download it as a PDF. I'll go to my week one submittals and I'll pretend I'm a student for a moment and I'll submit it. Isn't that cool? I just have my mouse button down and it adds it in. It's so easy. It works pretty much that same way in any of the browsers, but I am a Google Chrome head. I like it. I work in it. There's lots of good stuff, and we are a Google school. That part I hate. Anybody know where you can get rid of that? Does it happen on yours? Does that happen on you guys when you submit something? Somebody tell me. That's yes. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that bugs me. It's sort of like, woohoo, let's have a party. I did my job. I mean, some things are worth having a party. Woohoo. That just seems like so fourth grade. Let me see if I can feature options. Maybe it's, well, it's not in there. Apps. Sections, course details, submittals, course grade. No, that's okay. Copyright license. Oh, that's a new one. Oh, that's good. I'm glad I saw that. I need that. More options. Let's see. Students attend disabled. Huh. I have no clue where to go. It's in here somewhere. Sections, navigation, apps, all some work great, Badger. All this is in here. That's cool. Well, who knows? If anybody can figure out where to get rid of that, that would really be cool. So I'm not going to worry about it anymore, but that would sure be nice. Okay, so anyway, you've figured out now how to do this certification. There's 2 links. They go to the same file. It doesn't matter. This one just goes to a view only, but yours will say view only, and you'll be stuck, and you have to make your copy. Okay? And so that goes along with your submittal. Well, I won't get rid of it, but you can get rid of it in yours. I get rid of it. Lily likes it. She goes, no, don't get rid of them. Okay. That's cool. I like getting the feedback. Somebody likes it. That's very, very cool. Let's see. That's really, there's not that much to go over unless you guys have some very specific questions. Oh, I wanted to go over VMware again. It's really, really worth going over VMware. Okay, so Janice likes it too. All right, so I'm being overruled, so I'm not even going to try to turn it off on mine, because I'm hearing, I'm listening. Let's look at VMware, and then we'll just go over a few things again and just talk about things. There are by the way, there were some cool things. We did this very cool video about what this class is in general. That's a good one to go back and watch. I suggest you go back and watch that one. It really kind of explains our class. And then a little short video about water quality, which is the focus for this semester. Most of the things we're going to do once we know the tools will be about water quality. Your designs will have something to do with water quality and Safe Drinking Water Act. And we have a very cool, I have made contact with Professor Sasha, who teaches in the urban planning in the sociology department. That's what his degree is in. And we're going to be talking about this idea of institutional planning and how it affects people and how it keeps on affecting people. We don't think about that much. We just figure things are built and that's fine, but they're planned, and there's a lot of other stuff. Oh, cool. So Natalia says that, that she saw that and it helped make the decision to stay in the class. So Natalia, you were involved last semester when we talked about Fair Housing Act. Very similar to the Clean Water Act, except it's about housing instead of clean water. And that was pretty cool, I think. That was a really powerful one. And believe it or not, I was talking with Professor Sacha, and he was at his wife's office, which is at UC Davis, and I mentioned Dr. Hernandez, who was one of our presenters. He goes, oh, that's him right across the hall, which is really, really cool. How connected people are in this field. So we're going to be talking about water quality. You don't have to know anything about it. You'll learn some stuff. And if you want to research about it and get involved with water quality, that's really cool. Or if you just want to go, that's really interesting. Now I know more so that my design is better. That's really cool too. However, we know that professionally, our job is to work for the public good, and that's the public good for all people. Anybody who is in our area, wherever you are, needs clean water. You don't get to say that certain people get clean water and certain people don't. And we'd all agree, well, duh. But it doesn't quite work that way. Some places have clean water and some places don't. And partly that's because some places don't have a source and it's really hard to get it. And some places it's because we've made bad decisions in the past that keep making problems for us. And sometimes it's flippin' expensive to get clean water. And it's hard sometimes. So those are good things to know about. Fortunately, water is easier to deal with than some other issues like housing and clean air and things like that because you can make devices that can clean water. That's a cool thing. And test water to see if it's clean. Much, much easier to deal with water than air and some of the social issues that grow up around other things. So, anyway, and then I made a short video also about how to access SketchUp and super, super basic on how to use it in VMware. And you're going to get more on that next week. So, this one is not as important to watch, the short video on VMware and SketchUp. I'm going to reteach that next week as part of lecture. But this water quality one and the class in general would be good to look at. You can also look at our lecture on Google Meet etiquette. That would be a good one to look at. And there was the recording of the session. So you'll notice in this, I haven't listed everything, right? This is just your participation that you did these ones. Okay, and you'll see I do different ones at different times. This is a partial sample, and most certifications professionally do that. So as an example, if you're an architect, every 3 years, 5 years, you have to certify that you have been doing professional training to keep up with it. And you have to say what you did. And you have to meet certain number of hours. You don't have to say everything, but you have to report, let's say, 10 hours a year, 15 hours a year. You have to report those minimum number of hours, even though they expect you to do more. And then 1 out of maybe 50 or 100 people, they will audit. They'll actually go and look at that and check with the people and find records. And if they find that you have violated it and said something that was not true, you get hammered with up to the possibility of losing your license. Depending on how egregious it is or how often it happens and things like that. So this is mimicking professional certification world. This isn't everything. If that's all you do, you're going to do very poorly in this class. You want to really check them all out. But it's good for me, right? And you have to work it through. Okay, so let's come down to the other thing that I wanted to do, which was talk about VMware. And this is going to be quick. And then I'm going to open it up to any questions. Remember, this one's a lecture session. So I'm going to do a little bit more lecturing on this one. Tomorrow, if you still have problems, is your chance. Watch demos, ask questions. You can collaborate with your colleagues. You can't do each other's work, but you can ask questions of each other. And you can always get me in the appointment calendar. So this week, as you know, we're just settling in and making sure that everybody's got their act together. No real deliverables, but let me go over this then. So here we go. We're going to go. Now, look, I am presenting in the VMware web client. You'll see on our Tech Ed page that you can also do a computer-based client. You can see I've got it installed on my computer. That one has a few more capabilities for sharing files between your computer and the cloud. I don't think you need it. Okay, so I like this one that's up in web-based. That's how I'm going to do my access and how I'm going to show you how to work. So here we go. I'm going to check in, and of course I have to log in. I've got it saved on my computer. And I'm going to go to the ARC Design. Now, some of these also might have the program you need. Design Hub might. ARC Design certainly will. Fine and Applied Arts might. Learning Research. So if one of these is full and you can't get on, there are a limited number of seats we have available. I think 40 at a time. So that's the other thing. Please, when you're done, get off so that another person can work. Don't just leave it. As a matter of fact, it kicks you off after a little while of inaction. So I'm going to go to ARC Design. And it'll slowly come on. I've been on, and it might remember me. It might not. I don't remember if I logged out or not. And I'm going to go through the whole thing, and it takes a few minutes. But these are your best practices. And I'm basically redoing what that video was that you'll see. So here we go. This is what the system looks like. So the very first thing I do is start up Adobe Acrobat. Okay, because otherwise it's hard for me to read and look at Adobe files and download and print to Adobe. So I'm going to open up Adobe Acrobat. And here's the thing. If you've got Adobe Cloud open somewhere else, you're going to have a hard time doing this. So if you're doing Adobe Cloud, I think you can have it open on 2 computers. But any more than that is kind of a problem. So you're going to write your W number at apps.losrios.edu. For me as an employee, I have to do a different one. So right here, you're going to put in your W number at apps.losrios.edu, and then you'll sign in with an enterprise ID. Enterprise just means big company. And then we're to a familiar page. So you guys know how to use this page. Go. I welcome those of you who have come in since I started. We'll do some questions and answers in a few minutes and review what we did, but welcome and good to have you in. So I'm going to minimize this so I don't need it, but there it is for me down on my bottom bar. You can see it on my bottom bar. Then I go to my Google Chrome. That's the next thing I do because I need to be able to save and work with files. So for me, I go to the employee one, but you could just go to ARC homepage. But I need to log in here. Not that one. Here we go. Google Apps. There we go. And I don't save these in here. So now I can get to my Canvas. And I can get to my Google Drive. So I do all of this preparation ahead of time. And again, I can minimize this one now, but you'll notice that I have a folder. I have a ton of folders, don't I? I've been using this for many, 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 many years. But you're going to see that I've got one called Today's Work. And in Today's Work, I always load all my files up that I'm going to. Okay. So that's just my quick way of finding things. So over on my desktop, I'm going to make a new folder. That was a right click. And I'm going to call it Today. Yep. And that's where I'm going to save the work that I do on this virtual computer. And then I'll load those up later on. Okay, so that's how I start doing things. And let me go ahead and I'll do just a very, very simple SketchUp for you just to see. So yep, you have to agree. If you don't agree, you'll have to do it some other way. All that comes up. We use this simple one usually, or I give you a file and you have to open it. Next week, I'm going to give you files to work with. There we go. I've got it. And you'll see all this stuff over here, and I'll explain all that. I'm going to teach you this, and I'm also going to teach you which of these toolbars that are extra you're going to need and how to operate with them and how to look at things. And I'm going to teach you all this, how to set up your camera, parallel or perspective or whatever you want. Okay, but right now, just for fun, I'm just going to build a little cell block around this person. There. And I'll come over here. And then you can see I can use this cool thing called press pull. Make a wall, and then I can put a door open in it. And so this is just kind of like bink. There. That's basically, I just redid one of those videos. So you don't have to watch it. You're here. You've seen it. But the important part now is where do I save it? I'm going to save it in this today thing, and I'll call it little house. Here's another thing. If you have SketchUp at home and it's old, you can save this in a way that it works for you for a past one. That's kind of neato. And there we go. It's done. So now let me look at my today's work. Here's this. And I can put my little house in there. And I tend to do that. I want to do that before I quit, but it's up to you when you do it. But I'll tell you, as soon as you leave this, it's gone. That no longer exists. That's only there for a short period. There's another place for you to keep it, though, if you want. If you look in here on this PC, you'll see I've got one called instructor files. If I save something there, it stays there. And you've got one called student files. So if you save things there, it stays there. The only problem is you can't get it anywhere except if you're on this VMware computer. So that's okay. You can do that if you want another backup. The more places you back things up, the better. Isn't that cool? And yes, this Leah says, is this being recorded? And it's yep, already been answered. Thank you, Lily, for answering for me. I try to keep my eyes on it, but sometimes I lose track. So there we go. Now those are up in the cloud, and I can always get to those. And if I need it again, I can always right click on it and download it. And then I've got it. Bink. There. So that's how you work. You take it from your desktop and put it in the cloud. And then when you need it again, if it's not already here, you take it from the cloud and put it on your desktop. So there we go. That's how you work it. And then of course, if you want to submit something and you're working on here, you can do that. Right? You can come into here and you can go to your modules and week 1, and I'll pretend I'm a student, and you can do a submission. I've already submitted it once, so let's see. Where's my resubmit? Resubmit. And what's really cool is, I don't know, some of you might have, yeah, so Natalia, you can save it. So Natalia says last semester she could save it to her computer. You can, if you use the VMware that is installed on your computer version versus this one here. So if you use the VMware that's hosted in the cloud, you can't. But if you go to a solid computer to computer basis, then you can. But this is cool because you can find stuff that you've already done and you can download it. I don't know if you guys know about that. You can look at your grades. Look at that. Oh, it hasn't been graded yet. Okay, so you can look and see what those what your grades are. So you can be fully functional in the cloud. Okay, so I'm gonna log off of that. You don't have to, but I tend to put things in the trash. I tend to just be careful. Log out of stuff. So I'll exit the application. That way I know I'm out of it. If I hit the back button, it comes back to here, and I can either get onto another computer or I can totally exit my connection to the server. And that's what I'd like you to do. Yeah, and so Lily suggested there is a thing on how to get to it, so I'm going to show it to you in 2 places. So one is we have an ARC Technical Education YouTube. So if you just look for Technical Education American River College, you'll find it. But here it is. It's in the chat line for you. And you can go to the playlists and look at all it's on here. VMware tutorials, things like that. You can also know that we have a website, and you can find it under, where do you find it? Academics, Programs and Majors, and then look for us. And since this is not a super useful, it's useful, but it's not very all-encompassing, we've made our own that you can link to. And this has tons of cool stuff. Now, we're still building our lecture videos. We're going to have all those on here at some point. But here are our tech ed tutorials. And look, if you want it on a quick Prezi, check it out. It's on a Prezi. I like Prezis. There's another one you can use. Prezi is just such a cool thing because you can look at stuff and what do I got? I've got Mac, I've got Chromebook, and so you can figure out how to get to it, and here it is all put together, and how to log in and stuff like that, and you can look at how to save files and all that kind of stuff, how to back up your work. That's a really good tutorial. So we've got some cool tutorials. We have our simulation learning tools, but check this one out. These are some of our prior students, some from maybe 5 years ago and some a little bit more recent. we'll get a couple more on here soon. Miko, he's running Bueller and Bueller office down in Southern California now. Catherine, she's running an office at Franklin Wastewater Treatment Plant. Filbert is working in Hawaii as structural engineering design. Katerina is working for Caltrans. And Mark is working for a small company that allows him to do his semi-professional rowing. He's a rower, and he's actually almost senior Olympic level. And so he spends so much time rowing, he found the perfect company that lets him row and then come to work. That's very cool. So you can see that these you just an idea of what type of work guys can do. So you'll see that these are typical of what type of output you'll learn how to do in our program. And look, if you're looking for work and you can put some of this together and then go click to show the details of all these, that's pretty powerful stuff. This is just mechanical stuff, but look, there's HVAC, there's plumbing, there's actual HVAC details, there's analysis, there's equipment, there's layouts and schematics, there's component details, assemblies, sketch work. This is a casting design. So somebody would go, oh yeah, that's a person who can do some stuff. There's our stuff that has about some of the architecture, residential architecture that we do. You know, there's design, there's visualization, there's details, there's research and analysis. Here's some more commercial structure work, and here's some land planning work. So you can see where our program kind of goes. So that's available for you to look at here. These are all really nice ones, by the way. And I want you to show you one more, which is our job outlook page, which so oh my gosh, I need to update this one. I've got an update on this one. I have done it since February 22nd. So I don't know why I'm stuck so long ago on that. Check this out. It's kind of cool. What kind of jobs are available? So BIM and Revit indeed has, and this is pretty consistent. If you look at history, job market goes up, it goes down, it goes all around. I do have a more current one. I'll have to get it on here. I don't know why this is not quite so updated. But if you go onto Indeed.com and type in BIM or Revit, you'll see that there's generally 15 or 20 jobs, entry-level jobs open. If you type in CAD, now some of these CAD designer jobs are the same jobs as BIM and Revit. So sometimes these are duplicated. They say the same ones. But you'll see, boy, there's a lot of BIM Revit out there. There's good work. There's good work. But what the important thing is that you can look and see if you want a job, what do you type in to look for? So this one's pretty cool, and I'll get that updated. I updated it over the break, so I don't know why should keep the newer version. Should go right to whatever is current. So that's kind of cool stuff. If you want more examples of what we do, here they are. You can just look in and see and just like click and just start scrolling through. What do we do in this program? So kind of see how that's. I think this is a better website than what the school gives us. So there we go. There's some more stuff. I like to have you guys be able to see that stuff. Okay. That's what I've really got to go over. Does anybody, I wanted to do one other thing. Remember, there is something due. Okay, week 1 is due. Here's how I grade it. 11:59 on the 24th, and you have to go look at Monday's calendar. Okay, so here's the due date. Here's the Monday before. What's due? This thing is due. Okay, how do I do it? You go look at all of these dates to see where I gave you the information to how to do it. But this is what is due. So you have to make your copy of this, and this is what you turn in. Remember, here's where you put your syllabus in. Okay? So that's how you know. Tells you what to do, tells you when it's due. Woo! That gives us about 25 minutes left. Does anybody have some questions or comments, or you want to know about what we're going to do and what it looks like and what our first things are? Does anybody have some questions about that? Or how to do this current set of work? You can either go ahead and unmute yourself and ask, or you can go right into the chat. Okay, so Lily says that she's good. She's doing okay. All right, then what I'm going to do, I think, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording.